Hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to the wonderful worlds of hermits and crafting. And we're on top of our brand new skyscraper here in Skylandia. So let's take a fly out and reveal that beautiful structure we created in our last episode. And I want to have a big thank you to each and every one of you for all the support on this project. I'm so happy you guys are loving it and just having fun with this whole wonderful modern style, which we have not tackled in over 2 years, really creating a beautiful modern project once again. It's just been super inspiring seeing you guys excited about these and seeing that you guys are building your own modern projects along with me, which is just absolutely amazing, and it's why I love making videos. So let's take a quick land and look. Oh, there's jaywalking sheep over there still hanging out with us. Anyway, look at that thing. Now we are gonna take this skyscraper to the next level today. And what I mean by that is around the corner, we've got to finish its backside and add all sorts of cool little enhancements to really, like I said, take it to the next level. We're going to build the elevator kind of shaft on this side, and then on the back, I'm going to take some of your guys' suggestions, of course, and add some balconies. There's a ton of comments in the last episode. It was like, Scar, you know what that building needs? Needs a balcony, and I agree with you. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be amazing. Also, we gotta figure out a little bit in terms of, it's busy, right? And I don't want to just add more and more detail to it. See what I mean by that? Is this is a really busy site, lots of detail, lots of intricate lines and things. So what I'm going to do with the elevator shaft is it's going to be a very plain structure. So in this little section right there, it's going to be very flat. So we're going to do the white concrete straight up seamless texture, and it's going to look very cool, and it's going to kind of offset all of the more busy textures within the design. Does that make sense? I think it does, and it'll really help kind of complement the entire design. As you can see, my pancake here has entirely become moldy. So some people were asking Scott, like, what seriously is the pancake? Well, let me tell you. So this little design right here is kind of coming outwards. Eventually, we're going to kind of bring this down and create, you know, some terrain and things along those lines that will hold up our main skyscraper within the entire build. And then that, of course, is the skyscraper that will go up the top there. I still have no idea what the skyscraper is going to look like yet. I'm still trying to figure that out myself, but I think it'll be pretty cool. But before we get to today's project, which is going to be amazing, I've got to pay a visit to CubFan, and we're going to play a mini prank. That's right, just a mini prank on CubFan. And we've made our way over to Cub Island, and we are outside of his hunting lodge. That's right, I'm going to call this a hunting lodge because the walls are adorned with trophy heads. But before we get to our little prank, I've got to show you guys this massive map of the HermitCraft world. Now, we only helped Cub with a couple of these squares. I can't believe how much he's mapped since we were last year, looking absolutely amazing. And look at this, a genius idea from him to add all these little markers for everyone's base. Like, that is so cool. Look, there's our base right there. Absolutely amazing. GG Cub on that. But as we were helping him in our last episode, there was something hovering above me that required every ounce of my being to hold my scars together so I wouldn't burst out in tears. And you want to know what that was? That's right, the cat heads. These poor felines above me, just with tearful eyes, longing of the days of sitting in a window, watching the cars roll by, watching the birds play in the bird bath. But no, they're attached to a wall now, looking incredibly sad. So what we're going to do today is we're going to remove these heads, and we're going to give them a proper and honorable burial somewhere here on the island. I think this is a perfect spot to create our little cat cemetery. Super sad. So we'll just make a nice little archway here so that we have a nice little archway. And then what we could do is just do some nice little columns here and there. And we'll connect these with our iron trapdoors in no particular order. There we go. And I think this will look very nice. And it's just a nice resting space for our wonderful feline friends. Hello Cal, how are you today? So let's see here. Let's take out these guys and we'll run these across here. Now we need to give these cats some names. You know, we can't just bury them as you know, Jane Cat and Jane Doe Cat. No. We got to give these cats proper names, and we'll think about something funny to do with that. So let me fill this all in, and we can start naming these cats. Made some progress on the cat memorial cemetery, As you can see, we've got some pretty cool little gates over here. We've got some vines, of course. I mean, I can't contain myself. I had to put some vines down, had to do a little terraforming. I'd like to get some more stones and some rocks, you know, kind of mingling about. But I got the headstones set up and ready to go. We got some soul sand laid down. I think that's going to look really nice. So let's clear away our terraforming materials and let's see. Should we put the cats at the top? Yeah, let's put the cats at the top here like that. And then we'll put that one over there, and there we go. Okay, so put the cats like that, and then if we put our signs down below here, so if we did something like Rip, Fluffy, something along those lines, I think it could be pretty cool. And like that, we now have the Headless Cat Memorial Cemetery open to pay respects to these fallen heroes of the server. Unsung heroes, may I point out. Let's kind of look at the head markers here. So, Rip Sneakers, Terror of the Jungle. Poor Sneakers, always roaming through the jungle, sneaking around, keeping up with all the goings on with the GMO, and of course, keeping the population of chickens down. Sneakers was an amazing fella. Now moving down over here, we have Rip Mittens. Oh, Mittens. Mittens always protecting the builders from creepers. Always keeping a watchful eye on the builders of the server, making sure Bob the Creeper Building Inspector does not pay an unwelcome visit. And then down here, we've got Rip Ginger Snap. Ginger Snap always keeping beds warm. Little known fact about Minecraft, if you have a nice cat warming your bed, you are 10% more likely to have a better night's sleep in Minecraft. Like I said, little known factor. That's a Scar fact, by the way. Now moving on over here, we've got our final cat here, Rip Kit Cat. Chest organizer. Another little known fact about Minecraft is if you have a cat on top of your chest, you think you can't access the chest, right? Well, that's actually true, but what's going on really is the cat's helping you organize your chest, keeping all of the things you don't need, like useless items out, organizing all your things so you can easily find them. These are the services that cats do provide here on Minecraft, and people don't pay them the respects that they deserve, and they disenhead them or disembowel. No, wait, I don't know. They take their heads off, whatever it's called. Anyway, I think this is an honorable send off to these brave cats of the server, protecting us, giving us services that we don't appreciate. So goodbye, my sweet cats. Welcome back to base, and it is time to get going today, my friends. We have a huge challenge ahead of us to complete the skyscraper, and like I said in the intro, to take it to the next level. And I had a little suggestion here, and I wanted to run this by you guys. Oh, hello there, dog. I wanted to run this by you and see what you guys thought of this idea. You see the shulker box right here. We can, dye them to blues, greens, or whatever we choose. But wouldn't it be cool if we could actually dye them to an accent color? And I came up with this idea because I opened this box and I named this To Infinity and Beyond for our rockets. And I was going to dye it white and or green, something to signify Buzz Lightyear. Then I thought of it. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a base color? So these things were colored, say purple, blue, or white. So in our case, we wanted it to be white. So if this was white, and then the outline across here could be green. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh man, I would absolutely love that, because we could take these shulker boxes to the next level and actually be able to use them for building. And it actually is useful for building in some regards, but oh man, it would be so cool if you could have that in the comments. Hashtag worst idea or hashtag best idea. I want to know from you guys. Hashtag good idea or hashtag bad idea. Also, I have a question for you. Another one here. You know when these things have this little kind of yellowish dot right here? Does that mean that these are no longer going to grow? And when they're like that wider circle that goes across, does that mean that they are able to grow? And let's see if I can show you what I mean. So if I cut this guy off, see, look at that. See, it's got that like white design on it. I wish I could actually put it down, but I can't. Anyway, but you can kind of see that. See, it has that little white design, and then these have the yellow design. I assume that just means that they're done growing, correct? Like they will no longer continue to grow. I think that's what that means. Anyway, it's raining. I forgot my jacket, but that's okay. So let's fly over here, and we're gonna start on our first project here today, and that is this. There we go. We didn't fall. It's okay. Don't worry about me. We're going to start working on this column. So our first objective is to take this column and run it all the way up to the top. And then we're going to run the perimeter around and then back down to this column right there. It's going to create a unique, very modern shape to the building. I think it is going to be really cool. So our first thing is get this done and hit super fast build mode in complete it all. End of super fast build mode, and we've got ourselves a beautiful looking skyscraper from the front. I absolutely love the little border that we have. I think it really pulls everything in together. So let's fly out there and see what it looks like close up. Now, if you look at it, it's a little different than the time lapse because I made a scar mistake. I took the pattern that we have down here and brought it all the way up, but originally I had some cool ideas of kind of changing it up once you got past the big white beam right there. And, well, I seem to have forgotten, but that's okay. That's okay. It's just a single scar mistake. I'm sure there'll be many more, so not to get bent out of shape over one. So let's get busy. So I've been kind of planning out this section over here. I want this to retain the same shapes and general theme as the front, but still have its own unique identity in the back area. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start out simple here. We're going to run out a nice little white border going across, and I have an additional one going up this way, which will go all the way to the top. Now on the back side, of course, we're going to do the balconies, which thank you, by the way, for that idea. And I think that's going to look really cool and help distinguish itself from the front. So there's just lots of different pieces of visual interest that you can find throughout the build. And I think that's always important to, you know, when you're building something large and you want to create something that can be viewed on all angles, you want to think in terms of having a cohesive build, but also thinking about how you can add its own unique flair to it. So when you see all different angles, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that on this side. It just kind of helps play out the story a bit more. So let's see here. How are we going to do this? I think what we're going to do is, well, I guess we could just copy it slightly from the front because this is the general pattern. And then there's going to be one more line going up this way, which should intersect up at the top. Now, does it come out here is the question. Yes. So that's incorrect. So that was a crisis diverted right there. We almost had a catastrophe. Okay, and then it'll take this block and I'm gonna run this one up to here. I think that's gonna look good. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna bring this out 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, did I count that right? I think so. I think we got that right. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit in this little build about something that people always ask me. And I've answered it to a certain extent in the past, but I thought I'd go into maybe just a little bit more detail. And I love our little Scar Talks. Do you guys like our Scar Talks? We generally haven't had a lot of Scar Talks in the past. I used to love doing them a long time ago, and then we started doing more, you know, super fast build modes, things along those lines, and we do as many. So I just want to try maybe one as we kind of build this a little bit together. A lot of questions come in asking why I like Disney so much. And I thought I'd answer that because it's actually an interesting question. I know you're thinking, you're like, oh, Scar, don't talk about Disney. But it's an interesting question, I'll assure you. So I think at the surface level of it, like Disney parks are fun, right? They're just fun. You go to the park, you have fun with your friends and your family, and you do the parks, and it's fun. There's rides, there's food, there's music, there's all these different aspects that make up a Disney park, right? What I like about it, not only is that's a good important part and all, but what I like about it is the storytelling. And it's why it's always attracted me towards becoming, say, an Imagineer or something along those lines who create these environments, because I love to create environments. It's why I love Minecraft so much. And of course, you two do share those ideas with others. And it's the world building aspect. It's why I like Harry Potter and Star Wars and Star Trek, because these are stories that are part of a universe, not part of just a single story, which, you know, are cool in their own right. But what I love is these universes, these fleshed out universes that you can envision your own self in. And there's just something special, I think, to that. Let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to cut this off right here. And like I said, I just find that to be a very interesting means of storytelling and just an experience, because it's not just a story, it's an experience because you're in a three-dimensional world. I think today we have a lot of digital things. We're on our computers and our phones and things, and that can lose a lot of the kind of intimacy of like storytelling and stuff along those lines. And when it comes to theme parks, you are in a real and living environment. And that's what's kind of interesting. I think I'm stuck on a ghost block. Help me. There we go. Oh, that really like broke our train of thought. But I think that's sound thoughts, correct? Like when you think of that, that is what I like about the parks, is these storytelling, is the three-dimensional nature of it. And I think that is something, like I said before, is lacking in today, as much as it was in the past when, you know, Disney created Disneyland and things like that. And I think Disneyland was built with certain ideas in the past that are maybe not as relevant today, but there are new and emerging things that make it even more relevant because, like I said, with all the VRs and stuff like that, all the computers and stuff that kind of take us away from like the tactile world that we're just constantly immersed inside of, in a way, a fake environment, which in a certain extent you are in a fake environment within Disneyland. You're, you know, creating a Wild West land, a Star Wars land, something along those lines. But you're also, like I said, you are in something that's like a living, breathing, physical thing. And that's just kind of cool. And it's not to say that I don't like computers and not to say I don't like VR. I love it all. But there's just something special about being in a real environment, a real world, and especially the storytelling element that goes along with it. You're creating a world. Like, that can't be understated in a way that you're creating something out of nothing. And it's why I love painting personally, is you start with a blank canvas like this, and then you create your own little portal into another universe once you're finished with it. And you can tell some of the story about why you created this beautiful landscape or this starship flying through the universe. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was just a bunch of Scar rambles, but I at least hopefully I conveyed an idea of what I love about theme design. And I think that's kind of the key in a way, is the theme design, because I just love creating worlds and storytelling and things along those lines. And that's what Disney does best. And they've done that for a very long time. Is there things that frustrate me about Disneyland that they could do better? Oh, you should come out to the streams. We'll have a good old chat. Link in the description, by the way. I stream on Twitch on the weekends. It's super fun. You should join us. But yeah, I love it, and I love storytelling. I love world building, probably more than storytelling. I love to see fleshed out, beautiful worlds that come to life, and that's not working. That's not working. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, we're gonna have to do this manually. We're gonna have to do this manually, guys. We're gonna have to pull out the manual brush here. All right, we're gonna do this. Watch this. Boom and a bam, all the way across. All the way across. There we go. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, right? Hardened clay, or not hardened clay, but hardened concrete. I love it so much, but it is a pain. It's the biggest pain in the world. It is, but it's okay because we love it. This needs to be brought up to there. Beautiful. And I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go like so all the way across. And looks like I didn't quite. Come on. I guess there was like a little lag there. Okay. So this is the balcony right here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut into this by 3 blocks, right? Okay, and I'm gonna jump down, add an extra block right there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sneak outwards, and I'm going to go like this, okay? And I'm gonna bring this outwards like so. Okay, so there's 1 block here. This is total experimental design with Scar right now, which is the best kind of design. There we go, and I'm feeling like that's a little lacking. I'm feeling a little lacking there, so I'm gonna bring this out by 1 more section, okay? Cut that block out right there. And of course, there's going to be, you know, a wall back here, of course. I mean, it's just kind of need to have a wall there. You get kind of drafty in your room. All right, so I'm going to bring that across and run that all the way along, and boom, we've got ourselves a balcony. I love it. It makes this area different. Also, talk to the hermits. They're in love with the idea of having these be apartments for hermits. Now, there's only 6 in here, and if more hermits want to have spaces, we can build another skyscraper. It's pretty easy. So yeah, I think this actually came out really, really nice. Oh no, we're going down. Oh no, we've got ourselves a little put in the butt. There we go. Little push in the butt. There we go. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. That is looking really, really nice. Yes. Very good. Very, very, very. Oh geez. Oh no, I'm out of control. Oh gosh, ow, that hurt. Oh geez. That hurt. Anyway, I think that's looking really good. It's time to hit super fast build mode and complete this section going all the way to the top. end of super fast build mode, and we've got a backside to our skyscraper looking absolutely amazing. That cat is barely hanging onto the edge right there. But anyway, let's fly up to this ledge here. And I thought about adding, am I in Aquascar? Oh, is this a brief appearance of Aquascar? No. No, wait, this doesn't make any sense. How am I down here? But if I go into F5, I'm totally standing up here, just hanging out inside. Wow, look at that. I'm like inside the block. But if I'm in first person, I'm just cruising down here like Antscar. Antscar, Antscar, Antscar does what Antscar wants to do. Oh, that's pretty funny. Anyway, we've got the pillars built up, right? So these things look nice to me. So we have the carpet running across here, and we have a little quartz on top of the pillars. Now, if you remember the original one, didn't of course have any of those things. This is the general design that it had. So if you guys would be kind to help me with this. So choice 1 would be the original, this design right here. And then choice 2 would be this. Where'd my quartz go? There's my quartz. There we go. So it would be that. So choice 1 or choice 2, you guys let me know. Let's check our ping. Okay, we should be good. We should be good. There we go. Feeling good as we fly into the clouds. But yeah, so top one, choice 1, second one, choice 2 right there. But I like them both. I think they could both be pretty cool. So let me know which one you guys like the best. And let's, oh geez, we're back in Antscar again. So now we're down here, right? This is the elevator shaft. So we've got to come up with some sweet designs for this, because this is the counterbalance of the build. This is a very important aspect of it, is these are very busy. A lot of lines going across here. This is kind of like a, you know, just like a palette cleanser, if you will. So let's get busy with this. Let's see, we've got some white concrete, so I'm gonna throw that away real quick, grab some of you. I'm gonna put a block, oh, hello. I'm gonna put a little bit of gray on top of there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start running a couple blocks here. So something like this, and then let me sneak down here and put 2 blocks down below. So like I said, I want this to be, you know, staircase, elevator, shaft area. So we're gonna have a long window that kind of goes from the top all the way to the bottom. And of course, this is a vertical line, whereas all of these are horizontal. So once again, it's kind of a counterbalance to the rest of the build, which is so important. So if we run that like that, oh my, I think we can see some possibilities of things coming together. Now, as this block goes upwards like so, and let me add a couple more here. This block is actually important to place back here, because that just kind of cleans up the windows a little bit, or does it? Huh, maybe it's unneeded. Originally I was thinking, yeah, probably a block there, but maybe not actually. We'll do a temporary one there, and then we'll just cut that out, see if we can catch it. Come on, there we go. Yeah, no, I think that's okay, guys. I think we can, yeah, go without that. I think that's excellent. So we'll run this across here, following the general lines that we had established before. And I've got to ask you guys, do you like the Scar Talks? And if you do, I think we should do more of those. So I think we've done this before. We just go like hashtag Scar Talk. And if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about, you can definitely throw it in the chat. We used to do this back in Scarland, and it's fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So if you guys have any fun topics or anything along those lines, definitely let me know. Do I have some gray? Oh, I do. Very important. So what I'm going to do, oh shoot, this is the powder gray. This is that powder kind. That's okay. So we're going to run this upwards like that, just so it, yeah, perfect. There we go. And do I have a bucket on me? Oh, it's always good to keep a bucket on you when you've got the concretes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's established. Now what I want to do is I want to remove this block and this one, because as much as I want this area to be very plain, to be the kind of the yin to the yang of the rest of the building, I want there to be a little bit of detail, right? It's got to have a little something. So on these 2 little corners here, we're going to throw in boom and bam. Actually, nah, that's kind of a waste, but I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to just give it a 1 bump block. There we go. So then I'm going to run this all the way across there. And then I'm going to sneak this inwards like so. See if we can catch this one. No, we lost that one. Wasteful resource, Scar. But yeah, no, I think that's good. Now, one thing we're going to do about force perspective is, as the higher we get up, these little windows are going to shrink. So my idea maybe is that we go maybe 7 or 8 blocks for the first window that goes up. And then there's like an extra little block in the middle, kind of breaking it up, then 7, then 6, and then exponentially lower than like 4, 2, 1 or something like that. And that'll actually make, in theory, the building a little bit bigger using the principles of force perspective. All right. So where did the blocks go that I just put there? They just disappeared on us. Now, this block right here is kind of kind of bugging me in a way. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another gray pillar right here. That's right. We're going to do another gray pillar. We're going to get crazy. We're going to get crazy tonight. There we go. And then I'm going to take this and run that all along there, and another boom and another. Come on. Can I get a bam? No, it's not going to give me a bam. That's fine. It's fine. You don't always need a bam. All right. So something like that, I think, is a really cool design. And to top this all off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bit of carpet like this. I love this design. Taking a little carpet to the next level. Carpet is such an underutilized detail block. And I loved using it back in the day in our old modern house builds. So it's fun to kind of bring it back here and use it. See how you know what? I don't know if I want it on these windows. I think that might be too much. If we're going to do forced perspective on these windows, I think that would definitely be way too much. So I think using it on this window is perfect. So let's fly back here and see how that looks. So let's get a little hit with a rocket and we'll make a big old turn. Oh, yes, that's perfect. Absolutely loving it. That is going to be excellent. That going all the way up to the top is going to be our counter to this highly detailed, very intricate design of the building. Where am I going? Going on a little adventure, apparently. Anyway, let's hit super fast build mode one more time, and let's complete the elevator shaft. End of super fast build mode, and we've now completed the entire skyscraper structure from the outside, which is looking absolutely amazing. We've got the elevator shaft, we've got our balconies, and of course all the little details that go along with it. Look at that. Doesn't it act as I was speaking about before? It kind of is just a little area. It's a little less busy. I think it complements the entire structure very well. Let's fly up to the top real quick, and wow, look at that view. Wow. Oh, no. Wow, there we go. We caught that one. That's an expert flying Scar. By the way, I've been at this the entire day. And when it gets a little bit later, it's about 11 o'clock my time at night, and it's perfectly fine. I can totally fly throughout the server, but anything in the day, it's a no-go zone. It's really tough to fly. Anyway, shoot, I think I saw something. Yep, I realized that when I was flying around, I was like, please don't tell me I knocked out all the carpets. All the carpets over here have been knocked out. It must have been when I was making this and I dropped the bucket here. Water went around the edge and broke all my carpets. That's a scar fail for you, my friends. That is a scar fail. Hashtag scar fail. Anyway, as you can see, we've got a green living roof on the top of the structure. And I think that's really cool. It really is a contrast, right? It's very like contrasty compared to all of the like dark gray surrounding the area. So I think that's really, really nice. As for the columns here, they're still in a state of flux as they keep going up and down, determining, how high I want them. And, kind of moving around some of the blocks here and there. And I'll see how that kind of goes in the future. But man, I absolutely love seeing this from above. This is the first time I kind of like dove around and kind of looked at all the little details. And it kind of leads me to the next point is, what should we do next? What is the next skyscraper? I'm really hoping to incorporate potentially, some type of farm within the structure, maybe a gunpowder farm, maybe a paper farm to keep us flying throughout the server. But whatever it comes to be, I think after completing this, I have quite a bit more confidence than I did before in the general design. And of course, your guys' excitement for it makes it all the better. So until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos, and if you believe the video deserved a rating, that would be very much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later, and don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.